Hello to everybody watching, listening. Once more, welcome back to Mechabellum. Playing against a player that I actually enjoy a lot, playing against Mr. Fishmob here. Starting with Sledges and Fangs into Stormcaller and Crawler. Well, that's when you know the start is definitely not in your favor. That said, Sledgehammers have the not unique but still extremely powerful property of sometimes just moving through the opponent's forces and getting the job done anyway. Because, well, they are tanks. They were even better when they had more health, I just want to say. Wish they still had that extra health. I don't think Sledgehammers right now are overpowered, but that's mostly because the Vulcan is still dominant and raining down fire onto every board imaginable. Basically, if you don't know what to do, go Vulcans. That's right now the gist of it. I may be getting a bit too cynical. Anyway, let's watch the game. We have Stormcallers and just a whole lot of chaff into my poor chaff units, especially these poor little fangs that are basically completely useless right now. Crawlers have broken through on this side and on the other side now as well. And since the fangs didn't move up further, because, well, despite technically being outranged by the sledges, they still don't move forward if the crawlers are already at the doorstep, basically. All I can really do is watch as my units get torn apart by the missiles. Stormcallers don't get a level. At least that is important to note. We have some good combat abilities. I like to take early EMPs. Makes things a lot of fun, in my opinion. If you get an EMP and then every 3 rounds you can choose to turn off some techs or the opponent is basically forced to shield. Otherwise they will lose a large part of their army effectiveness. Let's speed this one along. I have another appointment after this. Right now I'm not entirely sure what to do, so I decide, you know what, let's go sledging it out. I add 2 more packs of sledges and my opponent adds 2 more packs of stormcallers. We'll see what actually works and how much better off or worse off this is gonna be. Crawlers once again clash in the middle. A lot of Stormcallers whiffing, at least. My sledges are still safe, the Stormcallers are too far back to hit them. Because if they were further up front, they would actually start hitting my sledges, simply based off the fact that they aim for the crawlers, miss, and then hit the thing behind them. We have the sledges moving in. There is a very good amount of them, and that's basically what I mean. If you have enough sledges, and the opponent only has stormcallers, at a certain point the sledges will just start moving in and doing some damage. And then the stormcallers will fall relatively quickly. It takes 2 shots from a sledge to kill a stormcaller. All of the stormcallers on one side have died. Unfortunately, the tank locks onto the tower, doesn't get more stormcallers killed, and in the end, it ends up being a whole 2 Stormcallers less that I lose by compared to the last round, and his 2 outside Stormcallers can level. We'd have Nano Repair and Heavy Armor. I picked the Nano Repair. I don't even remember where I go from here. I throw it on the sledges. Makes sense. These are the sledges that did the most damage this round, and they are almost up a level. The other sledges not so much yet, but they are starting to get there. My opponent is going for the forbidden unit, the Vulcan, and I'm going for Phoenixes. I'm also choosing to just throw around some EMP and see what happens. I had no idea the Vulcan would be there, but I also don't think it gets any tech. He only has 150 left in the bank, unless he sells something, like a pack of Stormcallers or rapid resupplies. There's not gonna be anything to disable. So right now we could basically just skip this round ahead. The Vulcan is going to kill just about everything, and with that amount of health, I'm glad I still have some Phoenixes, because otherwise all of my units would not be enough DPS to whittle it down under Stormcaller fire, not even remotely that much. Alright, let's see. So the Vulcan is still slowed, which means that my units get a lot of time shooting down the crawlers before this thing actually comes alive. On this side, the Phoenixes and the tanks have done all they can. And they are starting to hit the Stormcrawlers. Unfortunately, well, on this side, the Vulcan kills everything. Let's just speed this one along, because you know how it's going to end. Actually, the Vulcan has locked onto the tower and does not care about the sledges in the back, which means that I can win this round with some ground units remaining, although it's not by much. The Forbidden unit has dropped round 3, because why would anyone do anything else? We also get some Wasp Melters, Marksmen, Arclights. I would be thinking he takes the Marksmen as anti-air. I myself drop the Wasps right now. In order to shield my Phoenixes, I want to drop these Wasps. My opponent apparently is not so keen on playing with Marksmen, despite Vulcan Marksmen being super broken right now. Instead, he also drops the Wasps, at least that I do appreciate. It is completely useless spending any levels on these sledgehammers. The Vulcans just get range and they will kill them in seconds. These Vulcans deal about 930 damage per second. So they will take a bit over 10 seconds to whittle down the tanks. I'm hoping that at least with the heal, these tanks can offer some resistance to the Vulcan. But even if they can weather the Vulcan, they will not be able to weather all the Stormcrawlers behind them. Ultimately, I think I should have abandoned the plan of using those sledges. I wonder how I should play this next time. Maybe I sell out of ground units except shaft clear, and level 1 tanks are just as good shaft clear as level 2 tanks, and instead go for more Phoenixes, more Overlords, more of that. Though realistically I'm still lacking shaft clear, but honestly that is down to the Vulcan right now being just super effective shaft clear. The Wasps are not nearly enough in order to overpower my Phoenixes. They just plink down the Wasps relatively quickly, which means that my opponent might win the ground war, but he doesn't have anything to deal with the Phoenixes behind that. That's why you would normally have Marksmen, in my opinion. He does actually lose a somewhat serviceable amount of health. We do get another very good Vulcan item, and another very good Vulcan item. Here it goes. I could also be playing Vulcan, but that was a game from the 12-hour no Vulcan stream. So I'm gonna stick to that and not go for any Vulcans. Instead, I put anti-air on my Wasps in an attempt to have them take out the opponent's Wasps and hopefully survive. I'm also putting a laser... what's it called? Laser sight? I forgot. Yeah, laser sights. Putting that on one of these. He goes for the fire on the Stormcrawlers because he apparently thinks he does not yet have enough fire. I'm unlocking Stormcrawlers and just throwing down a pack of them. Or rather, throw down 3 packs of them, I guess. So we'll see. He still has 200 bucks left in the bank. He throws down a missile. Probably another missile. Yep, here it is. And no health on the tower. So that's gonna mess up my units. Yeah, I never put anything in the front. Go figure. Chaff in the front is basically just a missile guard, and everything else, including that chaff on the front, will just get killed by the Vulcan. Anti-air is actually working on one side, on the other side not so much. On the other side the crawlers got in too close, which means that there wasn't anything, no, I should say this correctly. The wasps got in front and started shooting the crawlers on the ground because they were closer, which means that the other wasps were still able to shoot at me no problem. My Air Force does, however, still win it right now. I have EMP again, and we see a high-level Wraith drop as well as a level 2 Overlord. Rhino on the ground also pretty good. I think I don't have the heal. Oh no, I do have the heal. Maybe that could tank a Vulcan. I would actually have to look up, because the Vulcans are starting to hit level 2, so level 2 with Scorch. Can that still be used against a Vulcan? I'm not sure. My opponent went for the Wraith, sold it, went for Fortresses and AA. I am right now expecting some text on the Wasp. I guess I should have expected that the Vulcans would get AA, would get their next upgrades, and fortresses I probably could have expected as well. Though the Wasps also do get their upgrade, so the EMP is going to get some amount of value. He puts some stuff in the front, so do I. He also rapid resupplies temp ranges. Yeah, he's definitely hoping to win some rounds. And with his unit composition, I think it's fair to say he's going to win some rounds now. I put range on the Phoenixes as well, but the Phoenixes are in severe danger of just being shot down by the fortress anti-air. Unfortunately, I won't be disabling any of that. So the Wasps get hit. They do actually have slightly more than 900 health. I'm honestly not sure if the fire is doing my opponent any favor, because right now it's basically chaff clear for me. I mean, just look at it. This side is doing a lot worse because my Wasps got killed by my opponent's Wasps. And now there's only Phoenixes left. Well, scratch that. There is nothing left, really. The missiles are still firing. They are still going to gun down that fortress here. But this thing is just so tanky that my entire army cannot deal with it. The entire army on this side, even the Phoenixes that survived, before the opponent swoops in and kills everything.